My name is Victoria Crewell, and I went to UNC School of the Arts in Winston-Salem, and my major was filmmaking with a concentration in animation.
My name is Odera Udumadu. I graduated from North Carolina Central University with a degree in pharmaceutical sciences and a minor in chemistry.
My name is Rita Anagor. I attended NCCU, North Carolina Central University. I got my degree, my master's degree in social work.
So my name's Pauline Foy, actually Dr. Mrs. Pauline Foy, and I attended University of North Carolina at Greensboro, and I graduated with my doctorate in nursing practice.
Okay.
My plans before COVID were to complete my film kind of at school. We have a final thesis film we have to do within our film program. And so some of those plans were a little bit different because I had to work with doing that film from home. And outside of that, I've had plans to go to grad school, but I'm still planning to go to grad school in the fall, although it might be partially online now.
Before COVID, I had plans to start my career in the pharmaceutical industry as a process engineer at Merck. This site is located in Durham.
Well, to get a job as soon as possible, but yeah, just to get in a job in my field, and also to get my provisional license on my LCSWA.
Before COVID, we were gonna have a graduation party at the house on May 9th, and we were gonna rally the kids and kind of drive around the country and visit some family, and we were gonna go to Cancun and do all the things that we've been wishing to do for the last 10 years.
I'm going to the University of Southern California. I'm still continuing to study animation there, so I'm actually just planning to advance my animation techniques and really take my skills to the next level.
Everything's still on track for me to get on board. Of course, some things have changed. For example, my orientation will be remotely, so for the first 2 weeks, I'll be working through Zoom, and then after that, it's all up in the air still, but for the most part, nothing's changed.
Still the same, just more patience with all the COVID-19 going on.
So before
I've been blessed enough to where the virus did not stop my work. It's a beautiful thing, but also I continue to see patients every day. In addition to that, I'm working on little clinical projects on how we can better prepare our patients, keep them healthier, just in case we get that second wave, and how we can prepare family members to adjust their way of life to communicating with their loved ones that we care for, in a place where they can visit without getting infected, but also without infecting their loved ones if we do get a second wave.
okay.
I think for me, I kind of have a general belief that like everything happens for a reason, so I wouldn't necessarily go back and change everything, but I think I would just try to make time for balancing everything. It's very hard in college to learn time management, but it is important to kind of balance work and social activities and also take care of yourself and get enough sleep. So I would probably just take those balance skills that I have now and implement those.
For starters, I'd tell the future younger me, or never skip class. That's one thing. Always study. Parties, fun time, all that, it's always going to be there, but make sure you never forget you came to college for a reason, and it's the stage. This is where you start to set up everything as far as the rest of your life is concerned. Try and get a routine, buy a planner. That always helps. That's what single-handedly, I might say, helped me redirect my vision. Have fun though. Make sure you do have fun. Eat, sleep, get sleep. Sleep is probably the second most important thing you can do, and That's about it.
Um, I would say work more on my confidence. I probably would have been more out there, got into more like organizations that would look good on my resume. But yeah, just being more out there, be more prepared.
I would tell myself to not drop too many plans. um, I would tell myself that things are gonna happen when and how they happen, and that at the end of the day, um, God is really in control. I've said this to myself several times, but COVID taught me to truly just trust completely in every aspect of life, just completely trust in God's direction.
Um, I think that you should probably like try to apply to wherever you want to go. I guess just generally don't be too nervous like, oh, I'm not going to get into a certain school. Like I would say apply to where you're interested in because you never know what will happen. And I know there's a lot of nerves about surrounding will I get into school? I'm sure you will. So just continue to work hard and stay positive.
If you haven't already, please consider HBCU. Definitely, I feel like HBCUs don't get their due credit, especially when you consider just depending on when you're watching this video, you're seeing all the things that's going on nationwide versus protest. There's just really that sense of frustration within the black community, and me transferring from a PWI to a HBCU has been all the difference in everything. That support, that love you get from people that look like you, that have your best interests at heart, it can't be replicated anywhere else. So just definitely consider HBCU whatever you do. And if you are, then more power to you.
Do not hesitate to ask questions. That one I would say I do very well in, and I'm not afraid to ask any questions because the last thing I want to do is be in a situation and I don't know what to do. So whenever I have something I'm confused about or unsure, I'll always talk to my supervisor. Another thing is to be very, have a good connection with your supervisor.
Don't take yourself too seriously. Um, you're up to the task. For you to have made it this far in life, you have everything that you need in your palms, in your heart, in your mind. And if you keep remembering exactly why you wanted to do what you were doing, if you write it, put it somewhere, it will get you through. And don't forget where you're coming from.
Okay. In terms of film, I know there's a lot of changes within the film industry and just how, I guess, working within film is gonna look. There's a lot of new safety precautions and things we need to be aware of, which I'm glad that those are being implemented and looked at. It also might make the jobs just a little bit more challenging to get at this time. I'm hoping that will get better relatively soon, but there's just a lot of new challenges in terms of starting a career in film and how production is actually going to work. Luckily, within animation, I think that there's actually more opportunities to work and do animation remotely, which a lot of people were interested in before. And I know that with COVID-19, this has kind of shown that you can actually work remotely on animation, and so there might be actually more opportunities to work from home as an animator specifically.
That's a hard question to answer. I feel like, thankfully, I had just graduated and it hasn't affected my job prospects, so blessed. So it's just, if anything, it's teaching me to or it's reinforcing the notion of always being adaptive, because if you're not ready to adapt at a moment's notice, or at in the event something like a pandemic occurs again, then you just won't be ready to maneuver, reorient how you're thinking, just be able to adjust to life's various blows, and this is one of them. So I think it'll definitely keep me on my toes as far as being an adaptive person and just quick thinking, because it's like we've seen, anything can change in a moment.
Just the process of getting everything, like as far as finding a job. That's probably the only thing that's really made a difference. Because even with like classes, it didn't really change anything because the majority of my classes were online and was pretty much done with a lot of things. So just trying to get a job, and because a lot of places are not really open yet to do virtual interviews.
Not to some extent, yes. Not necessarily from a career path, but just I'm also a mother. I gotta figure out now whether I can afford both private school and should there be a second wave, pay for childcare and pay for private school so that they can get distance learning. But it's also made us think about how we run our household and focus more on really just being grounded in the little things. Really setting prayer time with the kids, making sure that we all wash hands when we get into the house. Basic things that we thought we were doing, but not necessarily. So just making us more meticulous in every other thing that we've been blessed with.